in the wind. It's mounted in the wind, so it's getting all shaky. Good morning, all watchers of the stream, of the everything. Who's around? Nico's around. Nico is now Nico and not Gavin152. That's funny. Everyone's anchoring night. That is a good question. If you were anchored last night, tell me how it was. Mo Gaming, everybody. Good morning. Ivan's here as well. We're getting the nice regulars. David's here. David was also awake at 3 a.m. when our anchor swiveled around. I'm not sure why he was awake, but that's fine because he wasn't on anchor last night. Good morning. Let's see what our scene camera's dishing up now. There we go. There's the fleet and a catamaran. The catamaran is not part of our fleet. Just need to make that very clear. Catamaran is not part of our fleet. Anyway. Yesterday was all sorts. We had wind in the morning, which was kind of on forecast, and we had a very calm middle of the day, which ran out of wind a bit, but then the afternoon led into some nice sailing up into the bay. We're staying in Marina, close by Marina Agana, but this little anchorage here in Marina, and it was chosen by a number of the crew. During that briefing yesterday, we said, hey, what would you do? Where would you go if you were looking at that forecast? And what I particularly like about that is that whole process we went through is that it looks like, on the forecast charts, it looks like you're only going to get wind from here. Now, I know you can't really see where I'm pointing at here, but only going to get wind like off the hills, not down the channel, okay, because it's northeast. Now, what you've got to take into consideration there is that wind is like water, all right? It's going to follow the path of least resistance. Now, if you've got wind coming over a mountain, and it's coming over a mountain, and it will come over that mountain, then it will flow down the valley, okay? So you're not necessarily going to get an exact position on where the wind's floating, and it's going to where the wind's flowing off the hills, and it's going to actually carry on. So what happens down here in Agana in a northeast, or in this particular wind, is that it ends up coming down the channel a little bit, and the wave will pick up. Not much. So it wasn't a super uncomfortable night or anything, but the wave will pick up much. So this was one of the reasons that when I thought about where I was going to spend my night last night, I said I'd do it in Ogosnica because I've got complete barrier from all directions and flat water. And I'm a princess when it comes to flat water and all of that. And I still liked the thinking and the process that everyone was going through by coming to Marina, and I wanted to go through it and see what it felt like when you've got 12 to 18 knots overnight. For everyone, and they get anchored and they feel confident on their anchors. So that's what we did, and it was great. Yeah, that's the one. Anyway, let's get into the weather for today. Just go back to our scene camera while I faff around with my screens. I like having a scene camera for that exact reason. Lovely morning here. Lovely morning. Predict wind, here we go. Hashtag wind, predict wind. There we go, and let's go from this one, and then let's go to, where's my other scene? Here it is. This one. Those are my files. That's not what you're looking for. There we go, I've got it. All right. I'll predict wind. Come on, load the rest of your model. I think my Wi-Fi is a little bit struggling here this morning. I forgot to bring. I usually bring my own whole network, 4G network, in addition to the 4G network that's on the boat, in addition to my hotspot, but I forgot this time. Anyway, all right. This is what we're looking at here. High level. Coming through into Friday night, it's that northwest change, but a very confused mountains to sea, which is normal. But I'm definitely expecting northwest for that afternoon, and then turning to northeast again overnight. It's really trying to be a proper northeast, but it's just not managing. Saturday leading into a lot of sun on my screen. calm and northwest. I think it's going to be a very settled, sea breezy couple of days. It's definitely how it's feeling. That Sunday looking all sorts of dead before, again, I think all you're going to get is northwest through that time. Through Sunday afternoon will be northwest sea breeze, and then overnight, very calm night and into Monday. Okay, that's pretty much what we've got. Let's pause that, go back a step to this morning and come in high level to central Dalmatia. And let's just put it, we're right up in here, by the way. This is where Marina Agana is. Okay, let's run through that again. 5 a.m. this morning, 6:37. As you can see, it's still northwest, and that's what we're feeling rolling down here. But we're going to have this fight, okay? This fight of the northeast trying to come in, but the northwest having rolled around the Coordinati and coming down. Coming down the coast to see who's going to win. All right, so that's just what's going to happen for our Friday. But all looking good. I'd say you can basically sail anywhere, do anything, and have a great time today. It looks beautiful out there. And your people thinking about coming into marinas this afternoon, because about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 3 to 5 is when everyone's looking at having to, today, get back into the marina, whether it's Split or Trogir or Rogoznica or something like that. This is the time everyone's looking to get in. It looks on the GFS model like they think there's going to be a bit more border coming off here around Split. That would be interesting, but it certainly looks on ECMWF. What's here now? Someone asked me the other day, they asked me, what did they ask me? I need my buttons, I need my stream deck. Somebody asked me, in one of the questions on the weather forecast, which reliable do I find is better, which model do I find more reliable and more onto it here in Croatia, ECMWF or GFS? Look, the common internet will tell you that it's the ECMWF. I really struggle to answer that because I never look at it that way. I always look at the two. I never look at it each one in a vacuum. I've just trained myself to do it this way. I look at both and then I look outside and I see what I'm feeling, because there's just too much guesswork in it. Forecasting is guesswork. It's forecasting. So it's like I don't have an answer. I would say if you wanted a model to say, hey, I'm going to go by this model, I would I was about to say ECMWF, but no. No. Looking back at that, looking back at this map, let's have a look again. See, I believe this on GFS more than I believe this for this time of day, and yet when it comes to this, all right, I believe ECMWF more than I believe GFS. So I'm sorry, I can't tell you. All I can say is I don't look at them in a vacuum, and I very much use them both. And if you wanted to go by a model, I'd actually come away from that and I'd go to something like the PWG model which is the predict wind model of GFS. Okay, so let's see how that differs for right now. As soon as my internet loads again, I better jump back and see what's going on in the comments. Yeah, see, because I don't think it's going to hit 26, that's 19. So, yeah, let's wind back and see what they said about that same spot that I was talking about. Ha! Yeah, it's close. Yeah, see, so GFS, I like this. This is a really good example. Okay, good. GFS has taken in the topographical effect, PWG, so many freaking letters right now. PWG is taking the topographical effect in here and saying, no, the northwest is going to win, and it's going to infiltrate this whole area. Yes, we've got northeast flowing up here and on the top of the mountains, but do you see the difference? Let's go a little higher level. See the difference in how they're looking at this mountain range. In this case, they're looking at stopping it because the sea breeze or the northwest flow is winning, is overriding it. So there we go. That's And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with my model, is look at ECMWF, look at GFS, and then apply this history, this knowledge, this consideration to it. Kind of got off track there. Well, no, actually, this is all about weather, so it's completely on track. But I hope that was helpful. I hope that gives you something. Yeah, okay. So, we've got some comments coming through. Not uncomfortable at all. Slept like a baby. A little drunk baby. Good on you, Nico. Good on you. I did see, I saw, it's definitely a Wallace. I saw Wallace up at 3 a.m. when I was up. I saw his head picking up. He obviously felt the change and is like coming up. That's I like that. So yeah. I'm just standing to get drunk. I'm not sure why I put that comment up. Have you taken a day and made measurements through to compare against models and forecast? No, I haven't. I could probably do that. That would be a thing I could do. Would that be helpful if I did that? Tell me. The thing about taking measurements is I can only take measurements in one place, where I am. And I'm campaigning quietly inside my head and just talking to a few people about it, about getting, what I would like to do, I'll just give you this in a nutshell. What I would like to do is have a Croatia coastal-wise network of weather stations. And if you want to sponsor one of these, let me know. Coastal-wide network of weather stations that have all the fancy stuff, you know, basically like wind direction, rain, humidity, blah blah blah, all the weather crap, temperature, and potentially a webcam, if something, and you know, so you can look out and you can say, hey, it looks like this. Spots like at the Split Gate, at Marina Agana, or at I was going to say Point Jerningham, at Marina Agana, or at I was going to say Point Jerningham, that's in Wellington. Different spots where you're thinking of leaving the marina in a heavy northeast because it's 25 knots at the 18 knots, and then out of the Split Gates it's only 15 because of this katabatic, because of the hills influence. So I want to do that, so that then you could actually take those measurements, and I want them in real time. We had this thing in Wellington where you basically had a speed dial on Point Jerningham in different places, and you could just watch the wind, gust,